Let me pull up ESPN because I want to look at all the games. So I'm going to do a quick thing where we just do quick thoughts on every game here.
Sure, I'm down for that.
Cooper, Kamara, Mixon, Prescott, Diggs, Gronk, Funches.
Hey guys, if anybody's here yet that hasn't.
Good morning. Hopefully you're as bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as we are, which is not at all. Struggle is real this morning, but it always is. Thankfully, this is the last one of these early London games for this year, so we don't have to worry about this again until 2018. So you'll see us at our normal time of 10:30, 10:45 most weeks. But we're limping up here. We got kickoff in about 18 minutes. Tweet at us any fantasy questions you got up through noon kickoffs at BeerfueledFF or individually. I am at Nick Sparts, and to my right, Christopher Hopper.
At HotBFF with 2 P's and trying to remember our Twitter password. Got it.
I was going to say as much as I want to say that on the air right now.
It's funny because I tend to say things out loud when I type them sometimes, and I have to stop myself from reading out our Twitter password on the air. So I usually just...
So a lot of the questions we're getting this morning are pretty much... Stephon Diggs seems to be the central theme of most of these questions. If you're in a situation where you have a really solid running back core to flex in over him, I probably would. Like we had a question of I can sit Diggs and I can start Martin and Mixon. I would definitely do that.
Yeah, but as far as wide receivers go, though...
he's a mid to late wide receiver too.
Yeah, he's going up against a Cleveland defense. He's actually, Booty Calhoun's been pretty good, but
he covers the slot where that's where Thielen runs.
That's where Thielen's going to run, and they're down Ryan. So, Diggs should be the guy. He did get in full practices Thursday, Friday, so I don't think he's going to be as gimpy as he could be coming off of injury.
So he'll be partially gimpy.
Yeah. He'll have a little gimp.
All right. Other than that, let's quick run through some of these games here. What's the main thing you're watching for in that London game today?
So in the London game, I want to see what the Vikings do against that Browns pass defense. So I want to see if it's more jet, and we have to go matchup to matchup based on the running backs. If they go hot hand again. And then for Cleveland, I'm excited to actually get to sit down and focus on Kaiser and that offense and the running backs and just kind of actually see them and just them and not be trying to watch 8 other things.
Yeah, that'll be nice to actually catch a Browns game too, because oftentimes they're one of the games that gets kind of shut down and we don't get to watch at the bar we go to because we get to generally catch 5 or 6 of the noon games.
Yep.
And Browns and Bills seem to be 2 that we always never get to see. So I'm hoping that the Raiders-Bills is also going to come up. I'm interested to see how that offensive line does without Joe Thomas, too, because we may be just writing this whole offense off.
Yeah, I am, too. Not that the offensive line's been great, but missing him.
Missing arguably the GOAT left tackle.
Right. It's going to be worse. Duke Johnson's the other thing, though, fantasy-wise in that game to keep an eye on. The Vikings do have a really, really good defense, but
especially against pass-catching backs.
Right, but with Kaiser, that's where he looks. So.
Yep. Raiders-Bills, speaking of that game, what are you watching in that one?
So for the Raiders, better look at Deshaun Washington. I want to see if they continue to use Cooper out of the slot like they did last week. And then as far as the Bills go, Deontay Thompson is what I want to see more of there. We know that Tyrod Taylor likes to throw the ball deep, so I'm going to be watching Deontay Thompson a decent amount there because that offense is in desperate need of a pass catcher.
Yeah, I actually ended up YOLO starting Deontay Thompson in a league. So that'll be interesting. I dropped prior straight up for Deontay Thompson.
Give Deontay Thompson a DFS YOLO start so I could do the running backs I wanted to do.
There you go. So yeah, I'm interested in Deontay Thompson. It'll also be just good to see if McCoy can put together back-to-back good weeks. He's facing a very, very poor run defense, so he should, but I just want to see it again out of him.
Yep, and if this could be a Tyrod Taylor game also. It's a poor run defense, and their secondary's beat up.
Yeah, they're missing 3 secondary pieces right now. And their linebackers may be missing people, too. They have a lot of people questionable.
Right.
Colts, Bengals.
Yikes. Marlon Mack is what I'm going to be watching here. This should be a prime Marlon Mack game based on the way that this matchup sets up. It's definitely not a Frank Gore game.
Yeah, I think at this point we're looking for the baton to pass from Gore to Mac.
We are. Dante Moncrief is something to watch. It seems that him and Brissett are building a little bit of chemistry. And then on the other side of that ball, just the Bengals, look for Tyler Kroft. Keep an eye on that guy and Joe Mixon to see if they actually give him carries, as they should.
Yep. All right, Chargers and Patriots.
Chargers, Patriots. One thing I'd watch for here on the Chargers side is the use of Eckler, especially with Gordon still dealing with the foot thing. So he should probably rotate in for about 7 to 10 touches, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the Patriots, what I'm going to be watching for there, fantasy-wise, to probably talk about is just, do they continue to primarily use Dion Lewis? And, is he going to keep being that first, second down back with White in on third downs and Gillislee going to exclusively short yardage work?
And then Burkhead just gets his random 10 snaps.
Yeah, his random series somewhere.
All right, on to Bears and Saints.
Tariq Cohen.
Are they going to use him, basically?
They need to.
Yeah, they do.
As we talked about on the preview show, that's how you attack the Saints. Mitchell Trubisky should actually have to throw this game. I expect the Bears to be playing from behind, so I want to see that and how that passing offense comes to fruition for the Saints. It's just going to be Ingram and Kamara again, and I hope to see Willie Snead working a little bit more.
The other thing I'd throw in this game, it'll be interesting to see if how this improved Bears defense does against the Saints team at home.
Right. It's kind of a benchmark game for them against an offense that we know was good at home. So we'll just see how they stack up because they've looked pretty good this year.
Because if they come in and absolutely shut down the Saints, we need to start rewriting scripts for the rest of the season.
Yep.
All right. Falcons, Jets.
Well, for the Falcons, it's going to be, do they actually remember that running the football is a thing?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Because they seem to forget that.
Fuck Sarkisian.
Indeed, fuck Sarkisian. And then for the Jets. Jesus. Dog.
Caitlin, come over here.
And then for the Jets, I'm going to be watching McCown, just that offense in general. Looking for a wide receiver to really jump off the page at me as far as I'm going to take the one job here. But it's kind of been the alternating world of not necessarily pretty, of Curse and Curley and Anderson.
They've been scoring touchdowns, but the kind of the safety net you're looking for of targets and yards has not really been there for anybody.
For sure.
So it's like, hey, do they get in the end zone or not? Which is a very scary game to play when it's the Jets.
And then with every running back by committee, it's going to be watching their three backs.
Yeah, I think McGuire's basically been put out to pasture unless another injury happens, though.
Mm-hmm. And the way Forte was used and looked last week, I think that I'm actually flexing him in a league.
Yeah, I had a league where I almost started him, but I decided to nod to James White over him barely. Moving on to 49ers and Eagles, a.k.a. Eagles covered the over-under by themselves game.
Yeah, the Niners... Look, you're watching the rookie quarterback in Bethard. You're watching Kittle's targets. You're watching more of the unknowns, and I also want to see if the target volume for Goodwin with Bethard and keeps up.
If he plays.
If he plays. And then for the Eagles, I'm just excited to see more Carson Wentz and Nelson Aguilar. I think what you're really watching there, if you're looking for any takeaways, is, do they continue to try to force targets to Jeffrey? Does that chemistry show up?
Another Twitter question. Would you start Derek Carr or Andy Dalton this week? I think that's Dalton.
That's Dalton.
All right. And my only other note for the 49ers, it's just going to be interesting to see if they maybe turn to Breida a little bit more this game, just trying to avoid that front seven a little bit more of the 49ers.
All right.
Moving on to Panthers, Buccaneers. For me, it's going to be can Cam have a get-right game against a just depleted defense?
Yeah, can't exactly. And then we'll get to see McCaffrey actually have a prime opportunity to show off.
Yeah, though they are talking about possibly starting to limit some of his snaps because he's having to do so many pickups of pass rushers, and they're worried about his size holding up with that.
Right, so maybe more Jonathan Stewart.
Actually, Cameron Artis-Payne would be the one who gets that role.
Jesus. Why?
I kind of get the idea behind it of, hey, get him and get McCaffrey in more high leverage situations to have him less just general snaps.
Yep. Tampa Bay, I'm watching the tight ends and Doug Martin's usage.
Yep, and also can they run against this front seven?
Yep, but definitely watching the tight ends.
All right, Texans Seahawks. I think this one's probably one of the more interesting storyline games.
Yeah, the Texans. I'm gonna be watching the players to see how they react to that Bob McNair bullshit.
Yeah, I've heard anything from ripping off team logos off the helmets to other things happening. So this should be fun drama.
Yeah, Schefter's the one that reported decals off the helmet, so we'll see how that goes. But as far as the actual game goes, benchmark game for Deshaun Watson. I want to see how he does against a better pass defense. And then for the Seahawks, it's just do they start to do or continue to do what they've done in the second half of the season going forward?
Yep.
And can a running back actually take that job versus, we're going to go 11 yards a carry at about 3.5 yards a carry.
Yeah, they're missing 2 offensive linemen, so I don't think that's happening today.
And Procise isn't active again for that one.
Yep. But the other big thing for Watson, too, though, that I'm going to comment on is I'd like to start seeing him get fantasy points that are not so touchdown dependent.
Oh, shit.
What?
Bleacher Report just popped out that the Seahawks are considering moving Jimmy Graham for a top left tackle. Have been in talk with Texans for Dwayne Brown.
That would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you think of Jimmy Graham on the Texans? Because I don't know if Watson really uses his tight end that much.
Yikes. Well, you consider the talent at tight end, though. Griffin's not Jimmy Graham, but yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't want to start it. It would make me really happy that I had Brayton Dynasty to lean on.
All right. Cowboys, Redskins.
Everything. But really, Doxson is... I want to see how him and Cousins do in their second game with Doxson mostly on the field. Against a not-so-great pass defense. Cousins, it'll be interesting to see how they hold up with that offensive line banged up. And then for the Cowboys game, I mean, you're not really looking for anything to emerge. We know what they are.
Yeah. I just kind of want to see what Dez does if he does draw Norman this week and see if he can outplay that. But I've been pretty impressed with that Cowboys offense. I'm also interested to see if the Cowboys pass rush continues playing at such a high level too.
Yeah, Lawrence is lighting guys up.
Mm-hmm. And that definitely can start making you maybe steer away from starting against Cowboys if that continues.
All right, well, and this is a good game to do it.
Yep. Last 2 games here, we got Steelers-Lions.
Team start Juju.
Team start Juju.
Hashtag team start Juju. For the Lions, I think what you're watching for here, Tate's health. Are they going to utilize Theo Riddick a little bit more with Tate out or with Tate ailing, I guess, and then Marvin Jones and the Steelers just going to be the usage, I think, of Juju, and how do they work him into the passing game? How do they utilize him in that passing game? I think all eyes are on him this week with Bryant being benched.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if that he's actually able to take over, and if they work him more into the game script with no Bryant in there and make him really the secondary target on that team.
Right on.
It'll also be interesting to see if Roethlisberger can kind of keep his okay game streak going here.
His game manager streak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then lastly, Monday night, Broncos-Chiefs.
So Broncos-Chiefs, benchmark game for that Chiefs offense. They played them in week 1. I want to see it again, though.
They played New England in week 1.
Oh, the Chiefs did?
Yeah, I don't think they've played the Broncos yet.
I thought they did. I'll pull it up real quick.
I got their schedule here. Give me a sec.
Okay. I think this is their second game.
It may be. I just know it's not week 1. They have not played the Broncos yet. They get the Broncos in week 17 for their second game.
What shit was I thinking was the second game for somebody this week in division?
Because I think San Diego had the Broncos week 1.
That's what it was last week.
Yeah, San Diego and Denver are
and it was Phillies Redskins last week. Forgive me, it's really early. Anyway, so benchmark game for the Chiefs. I want to see how their offense does against this. Specifically Kareem Hunt, specifically Demarcus Robinson.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he gets another 6 or 7 target game here because that makes him borderline playable.
It does, especially in PPR. And then I want to see on the Broncos, Simeon needs to get right again. Simeon's calling card, I think, last year and the early part of this year was he was efficient and not turning the ball over, and then that's kind of gone away. And more importantly, I think the Chiefs' defense, we need to see if they're going to be a doormat or if they're going to get back to it.
Yep, they may be missing Justin Houston, so that would be a massive ding to that defense. The other thing I really want to see, too, is that running back rotation for Denver because the rumor is they may start bumping Charles touches, and we need to see if that's going to come at the
Yeah.
expense of Anderson or the expense of Booker.
And that was supposed to happen last week too, and it didn't. So we'll see if it.
Or the coaches could be lying. We're always half fans
Yeah,
of that, right?
I mean, last week it was supposed to be, hey, we're going to give Jamal Charles more touches, and they didn't. So we'll see.
So, and last question here, in a flex spot, Mixon or Diggs in a full point PPR. I think we've decided on Mixon with that.
Yes. And then if it doesn't happen, you can show up with your torches and pitchforks and go after Marvin Lewis.
Yep. Because it will be all his fault if that doesn't end up being the right call.
Yep.
All right, well, tweet at us here. We'll be here until about 11:15. We can answer any more questions you've got. Please hit us up, and we'll try to help you win this week. But thank you so much for checking us out. We're kicking off for the London game now. Skol Vikings, and we'll catch you guys on Monday.
See ya.